In a world grappling with the relentless march of time, a unique phenomenon began to unfold. Subtly at first, a ripple in the fabric of everyday life, barely noticeable. Then, like a snowball gathering momentum, it grew, becoming an undeniable force that reshaped the very essence of human existence. This wasn't a sudden, cataclysmic event, but rather a gradual, pervasive shift that crept into every corner of human experience. People began to experience temporal shifts. These weren't the dramatic, time traveling escapades of science fiction, but something far more intimate and disquieting. A forgotten memory would resurface with startling clarity, not as a hazy recollection, but as a vivid, present moment, as though it were happening right then and there. Conversely, a future event, once a distant possibility, would feel uncannily immediate, as if it had already transpired or was on the very brink of unfolding. It was as if the past and the future were no longer confined to their designated slots, but bleeding into the present, creating a strange, unmoored reality. At first, these occurrences were widely dismissed as mere anomalies, tricks of the mind, or perhaps an unacknowledged collective delusion. Scientists, ever eager to categorize and explain, offered explanations ranging from novel neurological conditions to hitherto undiscovered atmospheric phenomena. Philosophers, in their turn, debated the very nature of perception and reality, while spiritual leaders invoked ancient prophecies and divine interventions. Yet, as the temporal shifts became more frequent, more profound, and undeniably widespread, a chilling realization dawned upon humanity. Time itself was becoming fluid. The implications were monumental. The past was no longer a fixed, unchangeable history, a series of definitive events etched in stone. The future was not a predetermined path, a destined trajectory leading to an inevitable conclusion. Both were now malleable, subject to subtle, inexplicable forces that seemed to operate just beyond the grasp of human comprehension. This wasn't chaos, not yet, but rather a profound recalibration of reality. A world where the linearity of time, once a bedrock of human understanding and societal structure, was dissolving before their very eyes. The concept of was and will be blurred into an unsettling is leaving many adrift in a sea of temporal ambiguity. Societies, built on the predictable rhythm of past actions informing present consequences and future plans, struggled immensely to adapt. Traditional institutions, from intricate legal systems that relied on a fixed chain of events for justice, to volatile financial markets that depended on predictable future trends, found their very foundations crumbling. How could one punish a crime that might not have happened yet, or reward an innovation that could cease to exist in a newly shifted timeline? The very concept of accountability became a philosophical labyrinth, and the once clear lines between cause and effect became hopelessly entangled. Amidst this profoundly disorienting transformation, a new kind of awareness began to emerge, slowly but surely. Individuals, once tethered to a singular, fleeting moment, began to perceive the intricate web of all moments past, present, and future interwoven into a grand, seamless tapestry. It was an overwhelming sensation, terrifying in its immensity, and yet, for a select few, profoundly liberating. The traditional anxieties of regret for the past and fear of the future began to dissipate for some, replaced by a novel sense of interconnectedness. The challenge was no longer about controlling time, an ambition that now seemed laughably naive, but about navigating its newfound fluidity. It was about understanding that every action, every fleeting thought, every whispered word resonated not just through the immediate present, but backward into what was, and forward into what could be, in an ever-branching multiplicity of possibilities. The world, once a linear journey from birth to death, had become a boundless, multi-dimensional ocean, and humanity, for the very first time, was learning, with varying degrees of success and terror, to sail its ever-shifting currents.